So, I hear we're into some of the same stuff.
You are about to join the revolution.
The time has come. Your world will never be the same. You are listening to a sophisticated conversation.
Greetings and welcome to episode number 57, is it? Yes, 57 of Podcast Revolution. Being prepared is one of our strengths of this show. Alright, so
that was like the lowest confidence. Like usually the intros almost sound like it's the same sound clip. You insert the number, but that time you just sounded like you were depressed or something.
So yes, this is episode 57. I'm your host John, Johnny T, etc., etc. And joining me via Skype, as usual, is Tab over in Germany. Tab, how are you doing?
Pretty good.
Alright, so it's been a few weeks since our last episode, and looks like it'll be a lot longer than a few weeks between here and our next one. We'll get to that later. But, Tab, what have you been up to for this last couple weeks?
Not too much, just working, getting stuff done.
Okay. Do you have any podcast-related news that you'd like to share?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Well, I do actually.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have an announcement, and I know you're already aware of this, but in honor of the show, and because he hasn't been on it in a while, Cages has started his own Twitter feed to still interact with people, so people could still check him out. So if you go to twitter.com and search for Cages PPR, you'll find him.
Well, we should put a link onto the PPR website to...
Okay, yeah, I'll put the link in the description for this episode. Because the PPR website doesn't really have access to add links and stuff.
Yeah.
Because our site's pretty 1994. That's a running theme with this show, is the website is pretty terrible, as is our server.
Well, I mean, it doesn't need to be very complicated.
Oh, no. It's functional enough that this gets out to iTunes and people's podcast feeds. So as long as people can hear it, I guess the website's doing its job. But, yeah, so far, Cages has 3 posts on his Twitter. He just started it last night. Tab, would you like to share his posts in chronological order for us?
I don't have it open. You can do it.
All right, let me see if I can find...
You're grown up. You can use the internet.
I can. I'm allowed to.
For only an hour a day.
Oh, man. All right. So, Cages' post. For the very first one that he said was, just relaxing and watching some Dexter. All right, that's...
Classic Cages.
Yep, predictable. And his next one, which happened only a few minutes later, said, It's hard to enjoy watching TV when the pizza guy messes up your order. Sad face. What would Dexter do? Let's find out. And then later on he wrote, That was a good kill, Dex. And then he apparently forgot about Twitter because he got too involved in the Dexter episode. So, what do you anticipate with Cages' Twitter feed?
Not much.
Okay, that's fair enough. But we'll see if he stays active with the show and with his Twitter feed. So Tab, I know you don't care about Twitter, and for one, I don't really use it that much either. But what are your reasons for not liking Twitter?
What's the point?
Okay, do you care to elaborate?
I feel like I shouldn't have to.
Well, some people feel like everything they do is important, and they think everyone should know.
Those people are wrong.
Well, talk to those people right now. Let them know what you think about them.
Just if just no.
You seem to be getting a little choked up over there. Is this an emotional topic for you?
No, it's just a retarded topic for me.
Just a retarded topic for you. Okay, that's fair. All right, so aside from Twitter, what do you think is a good way of I'm not quite blogging, but posting on the internet about yourself. Are there any good ways to do that?
No.
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 So you think
Straight
it
up.
should just be capped off at email, but personal emails and messages between people?
Yes. I would like that.
Okay. So that's your cutoff point.
I think the one thing that I like about Facebook is it's essentially an easier way to then find someone in a way other than email. I mean, if you don't already have someone's email, it's hard to get it. But that's the only redeeming quality of Facebook.
Okay.
Pretty much.
That's fair. And Facebook's going to be undergoing some major changes this week, so we'll see how that goes. I'm sure people will get pissed off just because people get mad whenever there's a major change. Just ask Netflix. Tab, have there ever been any major changes in anything that you've done, like a website or anything that has been unfavorable for you?
Nothing distinct enough for me to really care.
Okay. Or have they ever changed a video game enough in a new version where you were very mad? Like Smash Brothers?
They definitely changed it in ways where you kind of, like, I mean, if you look at the original Smash Brothers, throws were actually useful, and then they kind of stopped doing that.
Okay.
In the throw, it was
Yep.
like in the first game you could like actually get KOs with throws. In fact, they were like really effective, which is why they were harder. And then the second game, it was like, yeah, we'll just make it do nothing.
Throw you 1 foot.
And I mean, they made changes too for the third game, but I think those were not in them trying to improve it and failing, but trying to make the game different and succeeding.
They were successful, but in a way that a lot of people didn't care for.
Yes, it turned off. It pissed off I believe the term is tourney fags.
Deb, can you give us a list of all the kinds of fags there are?
No, there's too many.
What are your favorite kinds of fags?
Let's keep going to a different topic. How about that?
Okay, that works. So, basically, the podcast has become so popular that nobody's listening to it anymore. No, that's not true. People are listening right now. Tab, when you first started listening to the podcast, before you were a contributor, what did you enjoy about it that kept you listening?
I enjoyed the fact that they were just conversations. Not to make myself sound, even more pathetic than I think the listeners think I am. A lot of times, if you're by yourself and you're bored, and you turn on just like a kind of a general conversation filled with occasional insults, it's something. It's not nearly as good as having an actual conversation with people, but it's better than nothing.
That's true. And what do you think about people who like go out of their way to think that you're pathetic?
People can suck my dick.
Okay.
Classy, John.
Very classy. And just like Frenchie.
Jews aren't a race.
That's my new favorite soundbite.
Oh, Frenchie.
You're making my dick wet.
But, yeah, so the sound bites, we've had them for about a year now. Can you believe that?
Well, the show's been around for about a year, so...
Show's been around for about a year and a half.
Okay.
Can you believe that? Whoever would have thought the show would last so long? I mean, so little goes into it that it's really not much, doesn't take much to keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the show can go under, because it's not like we've ever been turning a profit.
No. In fact, we've probably lost money doing this show.
At least we've lost time.
Yes.
Time from our lives.
That's a true fact. But, let's see. Alright, looks like we're going to go to a commercial break a little early. Then we'll get into some emails and other topics. So we'll be right back.
What's the matter there, little boy?
It's my Netflix account. I had the DVD and streaming option, and then they doubled the price.
Well, did they double the price? I thought they just separated the two features, and you can choose which ones you want.
Well, yeah, but I want both, and now it's twice as much.
Well, if you want both, then pay for it, or just do one. I mean, both I guess would be okay.
No, Netflix are Nazis. I'm not gonna support them.
Well, then you should go to Redbox. You can get movies for dirt cheap and rent them overnight and watch them, and then bring them back the next day.
What's that called?
Redbox. You can find it at your grocery store, or I don't know, other places too.
Is Redbox gonna turn into Nazis too?
Well, I don't think so.
Oh, good. Then I'll go get Redbox because I can't afford the Netflix anymore. All right, wasn't that a fantastic commercial? So, as many of our listeners know, we have an email address, and we ask listeners to send in emails. Tab, what is that email address?
That is podcastrevolution@gmail.com.
So that's a pretty easy email address to remember. It's the name of this show @gmail.com.
Yep.
So not too hard. And if you're having trouble spelling it, look at the name of the show. Okay, so we're here, and we got 2 emails since our last episode. Little low, but that's okay. So I'll read the first one. This one is from Biting Angry Owl, and the email is titled Battlefield Knife Challenge. And remember, we ask from now on that people, if you could include where you're from, that would make it better. This one didn't. That's okay. All right. It says, K-Cup, I think they're referring to K-Cap, is always saying how much he knifes J-Russ, whoever that is, but I'm pretty sure I could knife this K-Cap guys way more. I challenge K-Cup to a knife-off next weekend, broadcast live on your show. I'll be so deep inside of him, he won't even realize I was behind him, niffing him. Signed, Biting Angry Owl. All right. I don't think we'll be doing a show next weekend, so I apologize, Mr. Owl. But at some time soon in the near future, I'm sure this can happen. Or probably when K-Cap gets Battlefield 3 when that comes out, because that's going to consume his life even more. He'll wake up, play it, and go to bed. And he'll probably have 6,000 knife kills in that one too, so you better get ready, Mr. Angry Owl. Alright. Do you have any comments on this email?
No. I mean, I say K-Cap, you should definitely look into it. I mean, Biting Angry Owl, that sounds like maybe a gamer tag or something. So I guess you could probably, message this guy and see what's what.
Actually, this does remind me, though. There is a video on Xbox Live, or not Xbox Live, on YouTube, where if you type in K-Cap, K-A-P-P 22, it'll be the first video that shows up. And it's another guy calling out him and J-Russ on Battlefield. Because the guy gets mad because all they care about is their KDR and they don't care about winning their games, and he gets very upset with them. And you can see J-Russ blow him up a couple times. So, if you are interested...
Internet video games. Serious business.
I know, people take it very seriously. Alright, Tab, would you like to read our other email? And in fact, I broke my own rule in reading this one, and I didn't read it in a funny voice.
Read it again in a funny voice. You have to redeem yourself.
Alright. K-Cap is always saying how much he knifes J-Russ, whoever that is. But I'm pretty sure I could knife this K-Cap guys way more. I challenge K-Cap to a knife-off next weekend, broadcast live on your show. I'll be so deep inside of him, he won't even realize I was behind him, niffing him. Am I redeemed?
Not really, but we can continue.
Alright. Go for it.
Just a sec, I'm making a peanut butter sandwich. This will just take a second, people. My apologies.
You're going to be eating during the show.
No, I'm going to eat after the show. I'm just making the sandwich now.
Do you recall the first episode when I yelled at Eric for wanting to eat popcorn during the show?
You guys did eat popcorn on the show for the first 5 episodes.
That's true.
Okay. Again, people include where you're from, or at least a general idea of where you are. Okay. Hi again, guys. I apologize for my ignorance over Ramon's situation in my previous email. It would seem that my interest in him was only a passing fling. I must say I've enjoyed the last 2 episodes that I had to catch up on, Frenchie's anti-Semitism and racism aside. The commercials were top-notch per usual. It makes me proud to be a listener. The fill in the blank segment was an interesting new twist for the show, if I might suggest on start/end pair of Eric watching The Grotto in the beginning and Mike the Canadian showing up to take him to the real-life De Grotto High School to live out his fantasies in the end. Keep up the good work, Oliver Vilgro.
All right, Oliver, we're glad you've enjoyed the show with Frenchie's racism aside.
Jews aren't a race.
What? Actually, are those coming through for you, Tab?
It's a bit soft.
How about
Jews
now?
Aren't Jews aren't a race.
Is that better?
Much better. That's like the same volume.
Jews aren't a race.
All right. So in the first segment, maybe those were a little quiet. I apologize for that. But so all right, Oliver and Tab, would you like to honor Oliver's request?
I guess so.
All right. So we shall do the fill in the blank segment. Tab, please inform people what this segment is in case they missed the last episode.
So the fill in the blank segment essentially comprises of either Johnny or, in this case, someone emailing us, where we're presented with the beginning and ending of the story, and my job with JT's assistance is to fill in the middle, fill in the blank.
All right, now,
and it's still in development, so if it's not hilarious as the rest of our show, we apologize.
All right, so Tab, which did you like better? Did you like when you had to go solo and I'd throw stuff in, or when we bounced off each other to tell the story?
I liked it when we bounced off each other. It prevented either of us from becoming from the stories becoming very dull.
Okay. All right. So, all right. Start us off. Have Eric watching De Grotto.
So Eric, despite his promise to us here in the studio, has started watching it's Degrassi, right?
Yes, it is actually Degrassi.
Has begun to watch Degrassi again. And in this very special season, it seems different to him for some reason. There's something really weird going on. There's a lot of sort of mumbled Latin phrases and things he doesn't quite understand. In this episode, they're apparently making this giant chalk pentagram on the gym wall, and out of it erupts this oddly dressed man. He's wearing a flannel shirt and suspended held on pants, and he climbs and he walks towards the camera, and he emerges out of the television before our good friend Eric.
All right, so at this point, Eric starts checking his food and see what he's been eating because he knows this isn't normal. And he does realize that the drink that's in front of him is not what he poured himself earlier. And he looks around in his house and sees if anyone's there who could have moved it around as the guy's approaching from the TV. So Eric's looking at the guy and looking around for other people. And he sees someone with a cowboy hat outside on his porch. But before he can look further at that guy, the guy from the TV grabs Eric's throat. Tab?
So you started watching our show again. Pretty nice of you. Good show, huh? Don't you love it? And Eric, of course, just loves Degrassi. He loves it, so he says so. He says, yeah, of course, I love this show. I couldn't stay away. And so the fellow holding him by the throat's like, good, that's the right answer. So he lets go of Eric because there was really no need to be so forward.
Right,
at this point,
at this point, Eric looks back over, and the guy in the cowboy hat's actually walking towards him. Then Eric realizes it's his dad, and his dad says, "Eric, that wasn't actually the TV. That was just a really big box with people inside of it, and obviously people can't walk out of a movie." And Eric said, "Oh, that makes sense, Dad." and his dad tells him, Eric, we've arranged for this gentleman to fulfill your fantasy from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And Eric doesn't realize, he forgets what the Make-A-Wish Foundation is. And he says, oh, what's this man here to do? And his dad tells him, actually, the man interrupts and tells him what he's going to do. Tab?
Well, we arranged with your parents knowing how much you love Degrassi, that I'm going to take you there to live out the experience of living and going to Degrassi High School. There, you'll be with the other school members of Degrassi that you know so well from watching our show for so many years. I hope you enjoy yourself.
And then at this point, Eric's so excited that he starts packing immediately, and
no, he's already packed.
Yeah,
he's already packed.
So they go to the airport and get on a plane, and the Canadian guy's telling Eric he's so proud of him for being so brave, and Eric says, "What do you mean being brave? I go on planes all the time." And the guy says, "No, I mean about the AIDS." And Eric says, "What?" And Eric's dad pats him on the shoulder and says, "This is your final vacation, son."
We won't judge you for things you did that led to you getting AIDS. Better men than you have gotten AIDS from doing those sorts of things.
And then they go to Canada and have a great time.
Okay, Oliver, I'm gonna give you like 2 thumbs up for that story idea.
Okay, so let's do another story. It begins with Bacteria Mike at work, and it ends with him saving the world from a zombie apocalypse. All right, so
give me a minute to think about that.
Okay, well, I'll start it off. I'll start us off. All right, so Bacteria Mike is in the lab, and he gets an odd request to multiply a certain virus, which his name's Bacteria Mike, but he actually works with viruses. So he's in the lab, and he's never seen this virus before, but he starts multiplying it, and then he realizes there's a hole in his lab suit, and the virus somehow. He's bleeding because he cut his finger on something. So he's worried he might have gotten the virus. And he looks around to see if anybody noticed, and no one did, so he just puts a Band-Aid on and covers up. All right, Tab?
1 sec.
Okay. Are you eating?
No.
Are you eating your grilled cheese sandwich?
I didn't say grilled cheese sandwich.
All right,
no, I'm not eating it.
Get back to the show.
Sorry, I got some peanut butter in my mouth.
That's right, peanut butter.
Okay. So he leaves the lab, and he doesn't even wash his hands and desanitize like he's supposed to, because he's in this weird mood. So he goes out, and he hangs out with some friends and some family, and he talks to a couple professors. And after a couple of days, he's not feeling great, but it passes until he feels better. So next day he wakes up, and he goes to the lab to keep working. And he gets there, and the place is a fucking mess. All the isolation chambers have been just smashed apart, and the samples of that virus are just gone. He doesn't know what happened to them. So he goes to his boss's office to see what's going on, and his boss isn't there, but it looks like it's a mess there. And there's all these huge just blood stains smeared on the wall. And of course, Bacteria Mike's a smart guy, so he just assumes that it's probably some ketchup or something, from lunch being spilled. So he goes back and starts cleaning up the lab. Well, then suddenly his coworker Joseph shows up, and he does not look good. John.
All right, so Joseph walks in the room, and Joe's usually a pretty weird guy, but this time, and sometimes he dresses up in zombie outfits to try to scare Mike. So Bacteria Mike thinks he might just be fooling around, but Joe's mumbling, and he can't really talk right, and it looks like one of his tooth falls out just while he's talking. So Mike's trying to understand what's going on, and he looks behind Joseph, and he sees a bunch of other lab workers in weird conditions too. Like some of their eyes are kind of bugging out, and their hair it just went gray, and some of it's yellow, and some of them are just coughing up blood. But it's not so much blood; it's darker than blood. So Mike starts backing up, and he looks at his own hands and sees his fingernail fall off. So he knows something is not right. Tab?
So what he does is he quickly runs to the emergency cabinet that's in all viral labs, and he opens it up, and inside there's usually a bunch of first aid kits and stuff like that. But for his lab, it wasn't here before, but now there's a bunch of pump action shotguns. So he grabs one and not even thinking that maybe it's something mundane. He's seen enough movies to know what's going on, and so he blows Joseph's head clean off. And once he does that, all the other ones are really noticing him, and they all start moving towards him. So with a couple more pulls of the trigger, he takes care of the rest of them. So now the lab's really fucked up. So he grabs a couple more cases of ammunition, and again, normally this emergency cabinet does not have firearms in it. And he grabs a couple first aid kits and antiviral cocktails and heads out onto the road and hops in his truck.
But at this point, he realizes he forgot his glasses back in the lab. So he runs back in and goes to his boss's office. And his boss is actually there this time, sitting in a chair clapping his hands. And Mike says, "What's going on?" And the boss says, "You fell for my trick. I had everyone dress up like zombies today, and I just put a shotgun in that room to see what you'd do. It's my social experiment, and it went according to plan." And the boss says that he has this plan for science labs all over the world. So then Mike decides to save all the other scientists, and he shoots his boss. And then he calls the other labs and informs them, and saves the world.
The end.
Yes. So yes, that tricky boss. All right, Tab, you come up with a scenario this time, and then we'll go to commercial.
It starts off with K-Cap on the roof of a building, contemplating jumping because Xbox Live is down and he can't play Battlefield. And it ends with him being in a battlefield for real, knifing people.
Okay. All right. So I'll start it off. So K-Cap got he was in the building, and he assumed that he was just banned from Xbox Live for 4 hours, which happens many times. And it did happen this time, but after 4 hours, he was still unable to access Xbox Live. So he called Microsoft and was very angry with them, and they informed him that the service was just down for an inordinate amount of time. So K-Cap was on the roof, and he was still calling them when he was getting ready to jump, and he told them he was going to jump unless they fixed it just for him. And they didn't believe him, and they even started daring him to do it. All right, Tab?
At this point, K-Cap threatens the random, telephone operator on the other end that if they don't, solve this Xbox problem, he's going to make a battlefield out of their faces. K-Cap is, educated by MIT, so he comes up with witty insults like that. So he decides not to jump, and he goes to the gun store, which is actually attached to the building that he lives in. And so he buys a bunch of guns. He buys all the guns that he normally uses when he's playing Battlefield. This is one of those, high-end gun stores.
And the guy at the gun store tells him that he needs to do a background check, and that could take a few days. But Kyle tells him it's an emergency and that Xbox Live is down. And the gun store owner is also an avid gamer. I mean, he prefers PlayStation, but that's his own story. But he sympathizes with Kyle. So not only does he give him the most extreme weapons, but he gives him a 50% discount, which is useful because K-Cap doesn't earn any money because he plays video games all day.
K-Cap appreciates the help, but hates PlayStation fags, and so immediately kills the gun store owner and takes his money back. He then
But he-
heads down the road, opening fire on random pedestrians because he's K-Cap.
That's true. And then, so pretty much like this starts a gamer war in the streets because PlayStation people found out that he killed one of their own. So in the streets, a whole bunch of PlayStation versus Xbox gang members start duking it out. And K-Cap rises as the leader of the Xbox crew. And J-Russ actually joins him. And they start knifing guys from behind. But things go awry, Tab. What happens?
Well, at this point, suddenly, a massive army appears over the horizon. They're all standing there, decked out in shiny white armor. There's thousands of them, maybe hundreds of thousands of them. In both the armies, PlayStation and Xbox, come to a halt in their fighting as this massive armored battle group approaches. K-Cap quickly knifes a random dude and takes his binoculars and looks through them and realizes that they're not wearing armor, they're wearing MacBooks. It's the army of the Mac fags. Luckily, they don't have weapons because they're MacBook users. So the two armies combine forces and annihilate the army of Macs.
But then out of nowhere, the schools get out, and all the Wii kids, the army of Wii kids comes out, and they're like the Ewoks. They have their own weapons that aren't very developed, but they're very effective. They throw their school books and their pencils, and they knife people with their pencils and give them lead poisoning because they have pencils from the 70s.
While this new fighting breaks out, fires in the streets. J-Russ shouts across the battlefield, "Look out! 8-year-old children, 6-year-old children, 7-year-old children, they're everywhere!" And K-Cap goes, "I've been wishing for this moment my entire life," and punts one right in the face, taking their entire head off, and proceeds to start murdering children. At this point, he is the happiest person on Earth and has completely forgotten that Xbox is down.
But at this point, he's also forgotten that he and J-Russ have a certain strategy. So Kyle's running up a stairwell, and J-Russ doesn't realize that it's K-Cap, and he blows up the C4 that's in the stairwell and blows up K-Cap.
Oh my.
And J-Russ feels very bad about it, but continues to do it.
In real life,
again.
there is no respawns.
No. But if there was, their respawn point would be getting camped.
Indeed.
Is there someone choking a chicken outside of your building or choking a rooster?
Yeah, I'm hearing that too. It must be clearer to you than it is to me. It sounds like some children shouting.
Yeah, Tab, do you have some kind of cockfighting ring in your backyard?
No. God damn it, that's the worst possible timing for that rooster.
Is it annoying with a rooster? Does that happen every day?
It happens like every 2 minutes.
Do you live near a farm, or is this just a wild rooster?
No, this is some random asshole living nearby and has a rooster.
Can you file a complaint about him?
To who? It's not like it's in my apartment building. It's like a building near my apartment building.
Well,
the sound just travels.
I assume someone might have complained to the town by now.
You really would have thought, yeah, that's what I would think.
Because I know, at least in America, if you were in a... Are you in a more rural setting there? Or?
No, it's suburban. It's suburban.
Yeah, I don't...
That was a pretty good shot.
Oh, thanks, Bob! Alright, you already hit yours, so let's go find the balls. Oh, that's a pretty long walk. So, Bob, what'd you do with your son this weekend?
Oh, we went to Las Vegas, double teamed some chicks, we got drunk. Again. What'd you do?
I wish I could say I did the same with my son, but he's too involved with his friend Doug. So, but at least they're getting into some cool stuff. I brought Doug and Skeeter to a rock concert.
Oh yeah, really? Who was the musicians playing?
I brought them to the local the hotel, and they watched the band called the City Jerks.
Yeah, the hotel. That's not. They usually don't have concerts at hotels.
Well, maybe they met the band first and then went over to the show, but I'm pretty sure the show was at the hotel. Skeeter loves City Jerks. He sees them multiple times per year.
Wait, whoa, what? City Jerks? I think I've heard that somewhere before, but I don't think they're a band.
What do you mean, Bob?
Well, if memory serves, I think City Jerks is this thing where you meet up with a bunch of people and stand in a circle and jerk each other off.
Well, that can't be right. I mean, Skeeter and Doug wouldn't do that. Skeeter! Doug! That's why he wanted those wet shoes. All right, and we're back. So I apologize for the abrupt going into the commercial there. I did lose power for, well, almost an hour. So we are back, and joining us also via Skype is Amanda, also seen on the PPR, or Podcasters with Low Self-Esteem episode, when she was one of the two Amandas with cages.
2 times.
So, she is the first actual female to be on a real episode of the show for an extended period. So, we look forward to this by asking you questions that are related to females. So, I'll ask the first one, and Tab and I will bounce back and forth and ask questions. Do you find PPR to be a sexist program?
Well, yeah, sure, but I find it funny. I'm sexist myself.
Can you give us an example of how you're sexist?
Oh, shit, I make fun of females all the fucking time. Are you kidding?
So, is there a child with you right now?
Yeah.
And you just dropped the F-bomb.
She's not paying attention to me. If she hears it, you'll hear it, because she'll yell at me and tell me not to say that word.
Bitch.
I find females to be very complicated and confusing. I myself have been one of those females at one point in my life.
Only 1 point.
Years ago.
I learned. Tab, do you have any questions for the female race?
Not on hand.
Well, get one offhand then.
I know, come on, what is this?
Oh dear.
So Amanda, why do bad boys finish first? Or why do nice guys finish last?
Bad boys are just so much more appealing. It's
How
awful.
so?
It's awful. I really wish I could explain it.
No, it's not true.
Just,
don't even ask.
It's they're just more appealing. There's more excitement. I mean, we're all victims of, wanting to break the rules. Well, when our parents say, "Don't you go date that guy," what do you think we're gonna do?
Okay, and you take it to the extreme, don't you?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, so what's it like to have a vagina?
Well, I don't know. What's it like to have balls?
Well, I don't know. You could move them around and stuff. But if I had a vagina, I'd probably stick so much stuff in it.
Just kind of use it as storage.
Is that what you do?
Yeah. How often do you store things in your vagina?
The only time I've ever stored things in my vagina would be during menstruation. Storing tampons in there. That's about the extent of it.
Because let's say culture was reversed and women proposed to men, you could easily hide the ring in there.
Well, then that wouldn't show that you're married.
No, but before you propose, you'd pull it out and say, here, you wouldn't have to hide it in your pockets or anything.
Or he'd pull it out and he'd find it.
Yes.
Oh, that's quite the concept. Never thought of it like that, I guess. Then again, I don't plan to ever propose to anyone, so...
And why is that? Why do you suppose that we should stick with societal norms and have men propose to women? Do you think that's right?
It's not really just that. I personally don't believe in marriage, period.
I fall and I break
and I walk and I break my foot on the couch.
Wow, you're walking around pretty good for breaking your foot.
So what's wrong with marriage?
No, John, let's get back on topic. This the top 5 things that you would store in your vagina if you thought of doing that.
Well, one thing I did find odd, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, the NuvaRing, which is a form of birth control that literally just lives in your vagina for 3 weeks at a time.
Right.
I found that to be like a very weird concept at first because like it's just staying there. Isn't it going to fall out eventually? You know, I couldn't. I don't know. It's just weird to have something stay up there for so long, but it works. That's
all right. Well, you're avoiding Tab's question.
No, I don't store things in my vagina.
But if you did.
Oh yeah, like my lunch maybe. You know, it might come out pretty.
Or your lunch money.
Normally, I have pockets.
Or like pepper spray.
I put like a granola bar up there, you know, so if, you know, your blood sugar gets low, you've got, you know, a snack on hand.
Well, you know, that's a good idea for if I ever go to a nude beach. You know, I obviously don't have pockets. I don't need money for parking, so.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna, you know, if you want to have a picnic lunch, you really want to be carrying that heavy picnic basket around. You just throw, you know, keep the wrappers on so they stay, you know, dry, but you just, you know, get as much storage as you can.
Very interesting concept, yes. Anything else you want to know about the female vagina, then?
No, I think we're good on that topic.
Oh, I got one.
Okay.
What is a vagina?
What is a vagina? It's the
I don't know.
The internal form of a cock, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Oh my.
Next question.
You're making my dick wet!
Oh my. Inappropriate, Johnny.
Alright, so, Amanda, what is it like being a mother?
It's a lot of hard work. It's stressful, but it's the best job I've ever had.
Okay. And would it be easier if you were married?
No, it would be worse.
How so?
Well, let's see. I've been a single mom for 3 years now. I make the rules. I handle everything myself. By incorporating someone else in now, everything becomes different because now somebody else wants to raise her a completely different way.
Okay, so for all the young ladies listening to this show, Amanda's advice is just have a baby and you don't need anybody else.
I don't advise to just pop out a baby, no.
Well, can you please elaborate?
I advise to wait to have children because they're very expensive.
This is true.
You don't realize it until after.
A lot of people realize it beforehand.
No. No. You talk to any parents, and they'll tell you you can never prepare yourself to have a baby because you really never know how much it actually is.
Did it hurt?
A lot. A lot.
Just softball questions, John. Softball.
All right. Give us a more difficult question, Tab.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Good one.
What was the best unexpected thing about being a parent?
Best unexpected thing about being a parent. Waking up in the morning to her right in your face. Whether Angelin, what? My phone? You can leave it there, thank you. I don't need my phone.
Clearly you do, if she thinks so.
She needs you to store it somewhere.
No, you don't want to get electronics wet, John. Put it in a plastic bag first.
Yeah, that's true.
You keep it in there in case Cages needs to give you his phone number.
If you ever need a pickle on hand, I can try to shove a cucumber up there and see if it comes out that way.
Oh my.
Only kidding.
Alright, so our Ask a Female segment is going about as well as I thought it would. I think there's a reason why not too many females have been on this show.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Actually, what are you most jealous about males for?
all right, you guys are gonna find this really awkward. I figured whatever, I'll just lay it all out there. So in high school, I remember having this really, really detailed dream about being a guy and what it felt like to have sex. And I was always curious after that as to what it was really like for a male having an appendage there, what that must feel like when you're having sex. Because I don't know. I didn't think back in high school that sex was very fun. So. Yeah.
Okay, so that doesn't really answer the question. What are you most jealous about males for?
I think they enjoy sex more than women.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Even though they can't multiple orgasm.
Well, in my case, I have a very hard time orgasming. So at that point in my life, I never had. So I wasn't enjoying sex, obviously.
Okay, that's fair. So, what do you think men have wrong about women? What misconceptions are there?
Well, again, all women are different, but what I've experienced is that, let's see. Can we come back to that one?
Yes. All right. What questions do you have for us?
What is the most disgusting thing you've stuck your dick into?
This conversation.
Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with that answer too. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
That's also a difficult question.
Yeah.
Really? Really? It's not difficult though when I have to answer what I like to store in my vagina?
But you don't store anything in there.
Exactly.
It was
That's
a
a
theoretical question. It was a theoretical question.
All right, next question, please.
My lip gloss.
That's more of a personal question. Ask us a question about men in general.
Men in general. Why do men always go for skanks?
Oh.
I'm not talking about yours, John, by the way.
My skank. You're not talking about my skank.
No, you do not have a skank.
All right. A lot of men are lazy, and it's really easy to get a skank. That's the best I can come up with. Tab?
Yeah, I guess that maybe. Yeah, I think with some guys it's low expectation. I mean, low standards, or they're just not very picky.
Interesting.
Okay.
And why is it always the really attractive men are gay?
Because they know you have a gay fetish, so they want to turn you on.
Ah, funny!
Is that true, what I just said?
We've had this conversation, yes. That video, Celery, I do have an obsession with that video.
Alright, so, any more questions, Tab?
I don't think so, John.
Yeah, you've been kind of quiet this whole segment.
Oh, Amanda, do you have any questions for Tab?
Tab, do you personally find women making out attractive?
Kind of, I guess. Sure.
Alright, what kind of?
I mean, well, okay, let me, I think I can provide some insight into the whole women making out thing. I think guys just like the idea of making out with chicks, but it's hard for us to, like, find, like we don't want to watch some other dude making out with a chick. So it's sort of a weird, like, I don't know, reciprocal thing where, you know, like if you'd rather watch two chicks make out than some stranger make out with a chick.
Okay.
You are by far the biggest faggot I know.
What? Shut up, Eric.
Shut up, Tab. Alright, looks like it's time for commercial. We'll be right back with Tab and Amanda. Hey folks, feeling down about yourself? Can't meet anybody in real life because you have no social skills? Come on over to Match.com. We've been getting people together for years. Why, just check out this anecdotal evidence of this couple that met together last year and is already married. Say hello, sir.
Hi.
Now, tell us about your ordeals.
Well, it always been very difficult meeting women who I had common interests with. For example, it was so hard to meet people who would be willing to camp out a week in advance for the latest box set DVD of Seasons of Friends. Until I met Josephine.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Josephine, tell us about your relationship.
Well, my man, he really just treats me great. I actually proposed to him, and he was very kind enough to pull the ring out of my vagina where I was holding it, and he just jumped for joy. He was so happy. But when we met, it was like sparks. I can't even explain it to you. He's so great.
I think I can do this. I first discovered Josephine on Match.com when I was looking online for pictures of vegetables. See, I'd never met anyone who was also sexually aroused by vegetables until I met Josephine. Match.com matches you on over 3 million different qualities.
Can you specify which vegetables specifically?
Radishes, mostly radishes.
Can't forget the corn, honey.
Cucumbers here.
Yeah. But we won't go into detail about that. He's just so great. He just appreciates my bisexuality and everything, and he's right there with me every night that I'm on the pole.
Yup. He's also bisexual, so sometimes we have to go out in the backyard and have sex on a bicycle. It's the only way that she can be fully satisfied.
Yeah, baby, that's great. That's great. Let's not talk about last night, though. Jeez, I'm getting all hot and bothered.
Match.com. What's stopping you from finding the love of your life? Alright, and we're back. Alright, so what we're going to do today is we're going to do the Mrs. Webb thing. I wasn't planning on it, but Amanda really wants to challenge Tab because she thinks she can beat him in our advice column.
Yeah, I'm up for the challenge.
Amanda, why do you think you have what it takes to take the champion down?
I've heard him enough. I think I can do well. I think I'm good.
Okay, well, let's find out. Alright, so here we go. First question. Or, who wants to go first? Tab, since you're the champion, I'll let you choose.
I'll go second.
Okay. Alright, so listen up. Dear Mrs. Webb, Christmas is coming. My in-laws promised our children a trip to Disney as a Christmas present for the past 2 years. It never materialized. They kept putting the kids off. I noticed they didn't put off any of their trips to Vegas or Florida, though. They just mailed us a note saying they are giving the children a trip to Disney this year. Should I tell the children? They are 9 and 13. Amanda?
So wait, explain that again? Jesus, you picked a long one.
Alright, so this guy's in-laws keep telling the kids that they're going to take them to Disney World for Christmas, but they never do. And this year they said it again. So should he get the kids' hopes up or not?
I'd say fuck that and create your own vacation. You can't fucking rely on the in-laws. They don't fucking care about you. How old are the in-laws, though? I mean, if they're young in-laws, then obviously they're only going to care about themselves. I would say make your own vacation and don't tell them about Disney World this year.
Okay. Tab, do you have an answer?
Yeah, I think what you should really do is immediately tell the kids that not only are they going to Disney World, but their grandparents are also going to give them a whole bunch of gifts. And of course, that's going to be expensive. Disney World, I don't know where they live, but they have to fly to Florida. 'Cause it's Disney World, not Disneyland. So if they're on the West Coast, they're still going. So what I suggest they do, what she does is, invest in a good pair of gloves and maybe something to keep her hair up, so because she didn't want to leave any DNA evidence. And then she should just, get maybe a knife or an unregistered gun, and just murderify her in-laws, and then leave a falsified will that will leave all the money to her and the kids. And then, bam, there you go, as many Disney vacations as the kids want, not your money anymore.
All right. Well, I can't say that I like your answer, Tab, but I will say you win. So
Next question.
Wait, who's to say that they're going to get all the money? Who's to say that
The
they're
falsified will.
The falsified will, okay.
This is just advice. They don't have to take it. It might not even work. It's just Tab giving his 2 cents.
Yes.
All right, here's another one. Dear Mrs. Webb, I work for a tiny nonprofit connected to a larger nonprofit parent company. My organization has 14 board members and about 4 dozen volunteers. To be blunt, a few of the board members are driving me crazy. They are asking me to micromanage this organization and supervise all the volunteers and assist in fundraising and etc., etc. The pay is minuscule. What do I do? Right, Amanda?
Well, I'd say take this job and shove it. I wouldn't put up with that shit. That's my opinion. That's all I have.
Oh my, what's going on over there?
Nothing is going on over here. I accidentally hung up and had to join back, so I missed half of that.
Okay, well, how about someone who didn't miss the question? Tab, can you answer?
Well, I think I have to agree that she should probably quit her job and she should start working the pole, both in the professional sense and the professional sense. I think that's a much better way. It's a non-profit organization that'll get her a lot of money. A lot of money.
Working the pole, that does get you a lot of money.
In both senses of the term.
Yes.
All right, I'll give you both points for that one. All right, here's another one. Here we go. Dear PPR, I have been married for the past 2 years to a man I dated for 4 years. He recently quit his job and has decided he wants to buy and sell investment property for a living. He has asked me to hand over my savings investments and my daughter's education fund for speculation so he can make himself some money. He has never helped with the bills and apparently does not intend to. He drives a $30,000 car, lives in a $250,000 home, and contributes nothing to our family. He does not even take out the garbage. What should I do? Alright, so she's obviously married to Cages.
No, sounds like she's married to my dad.
So what should she do?
She should tell the guy to go fuck himself and move far away from that fucker, because he's just gonna rape her of all of her money for her entire life if she keeps up with that bullshit. She needs to move on, whether he makes her orgasm several times in 1 minute or not. Move on.
Amanda, your language is very unbecoming for a lady.
Whoever said I was a lady?
Good point. Alright, Tab, how do you answer this?
Well, this sounds like a perfect job for what I have come to term an inverse double baby shower. What this essentially involves is you drug the man so he becomes very drunk. So you get him drunk. It's that simple. Then you hang him upside down by his legs, and you have all his friends come over for the inverse double baby shower. Then what you do is you force feed him candy in the wrapper until he's bloated and probably vomiting a lot. So you're going to have to keep feeding and feeding and feeding. And then what you do is you have time to something like a ceiling fan. You turn that on so it starts spinning him, and then you have everybody else put on their like Gallagher ponchos, and they get big old garbage bags to catch the candy as he just vomits in this spiral pattern. And whoever has the most candy at the end of each round then gets to take a baseball bat and hit him in the ribs. Then you repeat ad infinitum until either you run out of candy or he stops vomiting up because his internal organs have just been annihilated. Once you've done this, you then put him in the garbage bag of the person with the least amount of candy, and their job is now to dispose the body before the police show up. At this point, you call the police and tell them that the person who has the bag with the body in it has a bag with the body in it, and you all escape to your respective alibis, which you've set up before the party has begun. Then you burn down the house, take your daughter, and move to France.
Okay, I would say, Amanda, your advice is a lot more practical. It's not criminal in any way. It's not disgusting, and it won't traumatize anybody that bad. Having said that, Tab wins.
Tab, I bow down to you. That's ingenious.
All right, and we have one final question. Here we go. Even though Tab wins, there's nothing Amanda can do to win, unless if Tab screws it up somehow. All right. Dear Mrs. Webb, I'm having an online romance with a wonderful and loving man. He has one problem. He is 18 and I am 36. We have been corresponding for over 1 year. He is supportive, a dear, and makes me happy. Can the December-May relationship work between an older woman and a younger man? I care for him immensely, and I do not want to hurt him. Alright? Tab, I'll let you go first this time.
Well, I think the first thing you should do is send him a mail bomb, like a package with a bomb in it, like an explosive bomb, and that'll take care of itself. It'll answer the question of if he really loves you. If he really loves you, he'll open the package and you'll set him free with explosive force. And if he's really not that interested in you, he might not open the package, and then you'll know that you still need to let him go because he doesn't love you enough to open your mail bombs.
All right, Amanda, what would you do in this situation if you were dating a younger man?
If I were dating a younger man...
Well, what advice would you give?
I would tell her that, hell, go for it. If he's 18, right? You said he's 18? He's
Yes.
legal. He's legal, who cares? Run away to fucking Tucson. I don't know. Get the hell out of there and go be with the one you love. And who the hell cares?
Make sure you do that before you mail the mail bomb.
Yeah, because if you mail the mail bomb and he blows up, then you're kind of shit out of luck.
And you don't want to get there when he opens the mail bomb.
Well, then they could die together, like Romeo and Juliet.
Ooh, I like that better. Give the point to her this one. I like that.
All right, the point is given to Tab. All right, game over. All right, so looks like it's about time to wrap up the episode, so we'll get to our recommendations in a moment. But this recommendation will be a little different, because here's what we're going to do. I've already announced this on the show, but now it's official. I will be going to India for a month, and I'm leaving in a few days. So there won't be any episodes, but you can still check Cage's Twitter feed. I'm sure he'll be updating that. And also, what I'll be doing over there is I'm going to be bringing my audio recorder, like what I did when we went to Canada, and I'm going to try to interview the locals. My strategy, I don't know if it'll work, but I've been advised that every time I walk in the streets, there's going to be beggars coming up to me. So I'll tell them I'll give them the equivalent of $1 or $2 if they'll give me an interview for 2 minutes. So I'll see how that goes. Hopefully I don't get my recorder stolen. And so hopefully I'll get some good interviews, and we'll learn about what it's like to be in India. So for the suggestions, recommendations, I want you guys to recommend me what you want me to research in India and bring back to PPR. So make some recommendations for me.
Go visit the slums.
Go visit the slums.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds safe.
Yeah, following up on that, bring back a good story about you getting mugged.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
Like, I don't care if you actually get mugged or not. Just bring a good story back.
Bring a good story. All right, I'll do what I can. But Tab, I know you haven't been to India, as far as I know, but you have. You obviously live in Germany, so you're used to international travel. Do you have any advice for the plane ride or anything?
Take like Tylenol PM, enough to knock yourself out for the flight.
Okay. And
I say a fifth of vodka.
a fifth of vodka.
Yeah. Just chug it before you go.
I'll combine both at once.
I don't know if that's quite safe, but sure.
Okay. And any last words for since the show won't be on for about a month?
No.
No.
Okay. And actually, what I could potentially do, Tab, let me know if you think you'd want to do this. I could give you the password and login information, and you could record your own shorts and put them online.
Maybe.
Okay. We'll discuss this off air. But there's always possibilities, things that can be done. All right. Well, Amanda, thank you for coming on. Do you have any parting words?
No, thank you for the opportunity. It was a lot of fun.
All right. Would you come back if asked?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I especially liked the Cages interview, so this is fun.
See if we can make that happen again. Tab, do you have any parting words?
No.
Okay. Well, then I'd like to thank Tab and Amanda and Oliver and Angry Owl for participating in the show. And I'd like to thank myself, because without me, none of this would be possible. And hopefully I make it back from India in one piece, and we'll resume the show. So, everybody, thank you for your contributions, and basically that's about it.
Jews aren't a race.